All right, excellent. Hello, welcome to an exclusive piece of content from Riot Act. I'm Stephen Hill, joined by Ash from, I'd say, one of our favourite bands of 2020 in the new band category. Actually, just in general, I think even if you were an established band, what you've done this year has been quite brilliant in Sugar Horse, Ash. Good year for you guys, musically, I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't know if you want to expand on that any further.
No, I'm just going to say thank you. That'll be it. You can talk. No, it's been cool. We've done a lot. We probably ended up doing more than we would have done this year, thanks to the dreaded plague. But yeah, it's been really cool. Reaction to the EP was kind of breathtaking, to be honest. Didn't expect that our like weird, fucked up band would anyone would like it. So
what we're going to be talking about today, I mean, we will talk about a bit about the future. We'll talk about what you guys have been doing a little bit as well. We will be talking about you too, as is standard. I've actually got a reason to do it with you for one of the few times. But really, you have very kindly given us here at Riot Act the kind of exclusive preview to a new song and video that you guys have done. It's called The Great Shame. If you're watching this, continue watching it to the end. After this little chat we've had, you'll be able to see the video for The Great Shame, which I believe was inspired by an old BBC TV show called Heart of an Angel, about the tube station, which I'm guessing period-wise is like the early to mid 80s, I want to say.
89, I think the doc is like filmed and was released by a woman called Molly Deneen. It was like mid, but in the middle of lockdown, I was like, well, this is my only chance I'll get to write a million songs, and we can kind of pull the best ones out and make like an album out of it. We had like half of it already written anyway, but then I was like throwing around ideas. We were kind of joking. A few of our mates were like taking the piss out of us because it's like 5 songs that ended up being like half an hour. It's not really an EP. I mean, like there are loads of albums that are shorter than that. So we thought it'd be kind of funny to write a song that's like 35 minutes long and release it in the same year.
Yeah.
Started off as a kind of like in-joke, and I was like kind of made it a little challenge in my head to write this kind of like big long thing. There's a Mogwai song called like My Father, My King.
Yes.
Which they recorded with Steve Albini. That's kind of like a big like 25-minute like dirge of essentially one riff. So I thought, that sounds cool, we'll do that. But we also have to put vocals in stuff. So it turned out to be a lot more difficult than I first imagined. But yeah, I kind of had like bits and pieces of that that I wanted to kind of form into something. And while I was kind of in the middle of that, Jake, who plays keys and baritone guitar, messaged me one night and was like, you have to watch this documentary on BBC. It's like hilariously bleak. So he sent it to me and I was watching it, and it's just like it's one of the most mundane things I've ever seen. I think it's like it's the film equivalent of just like watching CCTV in like a shop for 2 hours. It's a really weird film, but with everything going on in the world at that point, like there was the like BLM movement, and obviously we're in lockdown for coronavirus, and Boris Johnson is the fucking prime minister of the country, which is like a cartoon has come to life. There were a couple like themes in it that kind of clicked. It was like it seemed because the documentary is like filmed like on the precipice of like this old tube station in Angel closing and getting renovated into an I think they reopened it in like 92 or something after a couple of years of renovation. But like you watch it and like everything's fucking broken, like nothing works properly, like the lifts, and all of the people that work there have worked there for like like 25 years, and they're all like super old, like white dudes that have no idea what they're doing. And they like just don't care at all. Like they would just plow on with what they always do, regardless of what happens to the tube station. It kind of fit into that. And then there's a couple like clips of the people that work the night shifts, which is like on the actual tracks, like removing hair and shit like that, and like
Horrible.
cleaning the tracks. And they're all like fucking depressed, like hope has been eradicated from their lives. And they're all like women, people of colour, like essentially just not old white dudes who seem to have the plush jobs upstairs. And whatever they decide to do doesn't really fucking matter. And I thought that all kind of tied in with where we were at the moment. So I decided to try and stick them together into this weird little mashup thing. I also watched this film called Arcadia. It was brought out in like 2017. It's made by a bloke called Paul Wright. And it's a really weird premise. It's like all this stock archive footage from like the late 1800s and like the first half of the 20th century, and it's all from like the UK countryside. And he's stuck it all together. It's all like weird like ceremonies and like day-to-day life in the country and stuff, but he's stuck it all together in such a way and like soundtracked it that he's turned it into like a horror film. It's it's a really mad watch. Like I kind of went into it like super dubious, thinking that it was going to be really dull, and I ended up like genuinely quite scared. So like that kind of cutting up something and morphing it into something else was kind of a big thing with making The Great Shame.
I think you do that as well, because I mean you sort of touched on something that I was going to say, that the last like minute where you're just screaming clots of blood and show clips of, I guess, people going through their day-to-day commute, people working in the underground, people doing the kind of all that kind of nasty late night heavy duty stuff, and just the stills of their faces are nightmarish. I mean, and particularly, and I was like, you know, having not seen the documentary and having only watched the video that you created, it does look like some kind of, you know, dystopian nightmare world that's been created. And then you think, well, actually, that's the Great Britain that I grew up in the 80s. Do you know what I mean? And suddenly looking back on it, I'm like, I mean, I knew it was a bit run down and horrible in London back then. Every time I'd go, you know, my dad would take me up to London now and again, but fuck me, like the shit grim, man. It's so grim. It looks like another, I mean, I was going to say another century. Obviously, it's another millennium, really, but it feels like centuries ago that people would be feeling like their life was so.
It's mad. Like the bleak, just how everyone like talks to each other and their like mindset as well. Like I don't know about you growing up, but like my dad is very much of that mindset where like everything is shit and like you can only go so far and kind of like stay in your lane kind of thing. So it got like what's the guy called? Derek, the ticket box guy. That's where the idea of kind of putting the video and the song soundtrack, whatever you want to call it, together came from. Because I was watching it for the first time, and he started on that monologue that's in the middle of it, and that recording that's in the actual song is me hitting record. Like as soon as he started talking, I was like, this is going to be good, like with my phone like right next to the TV speaker, like grabbing it, and like that whole mindset that he has is like just so resonant with like the way like I grew up with my dad, and the people around me, like his friends and the people that he worked with were all like that. Like,
well, just for some context, and I don't want to ruin it too much, but just for some context, I mean, he's just unhappy with the basic idea of being born, isn't he, that guy?
Yeah.
He said, you don't ask to be born, and once you are born, you're just waiting to die. And then later on he says, and I want to know why. It's you think, like, this guy works in, he works at a tube station. He's a sort of customer-facing role. He's the face of the company. You actually have to speak to. It's like, Lord only knows how they feel, like down in the catacombs.
It's insane. Like, and it's cool. Like, there's the juxtaposition of how fucking miserable that guy is, and then
the flat earther.
Well, the flat Earth guy is just mad. Like, he's an insane man. I don't understand how he's got a job at all. Like, that he was willing to say that stuff while he was being filmed for national television. Can you imagine what he says when he's not on camera? Yeah. But the juxtaposition of that guy who's got like the plush job, like upstairs, and then there's the woman later who kind of sings that weird, like, nursery rhymey gospel thing, and she's like literally goes underneath the ground at like 11 p.m. and pulls hair out of a train track for a living, like, every night of the week, and she's like still got a bit of joy left in her. It's quite, I don't know, I just found that whole thing just really fucking weird. It's
really weird, and it's it's very good. There's also a little guy, I mean, one guy I did notice who did feel like today is there's definitely some kind of SoundCloud rapper that has been transported back.
I don't know exactly how you mean. Yeah,
he's got a Metallica shirt, he looks like Juice WRLD, he's got the round glasses, he's got a dread Metallica shirt on. I was like, I'm definitely...
I bought his record, I think.
Yeah. But it is. But other than that, it is a really, really unbelievably bleak thing. And I mean, maybe we should get away from it because it's going to be coming up in a second. Just really, really quickly, U2, covering Bullet the Blue Sky at your Arctangent kind of festival set, the sort of socially the online set that you did a couple of months ago. Thanks very much for dedicating.
Oh, that's all right. I know you're a fan, so I thought I'd shout it out. To be honest, we picked it, like, I love U2. Chris, our bass player, loves U2, and Jake loves U2. Not too sure about Sab, our drummer, I don't know. But we picked it because we were like, we should do a cover, it'll be fun, like, and it will be recorded and stuff. So and we picked it because we know that people hate U2, and it'd be really funny to make people, make Arctangent fans have to sit through a whole U2 song.
Well, you joined the likes of Travis and the Killers and Mary Blige as artists that have covered U2 now, so you're in a sort of quite
Sepultura,
POD, Anthrax. There's some good bands that have done it as well.
Anthrax cover, fucking hell.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all right, actually. It's quite good. Anyway, Bullet the Blue Sky, Sepultura and POD both picked that one. It feels like that is the metal band's go-to U2 song of choice.
Yeah, I think we picked it just because of the drum beat and the bass line, and it's quite. Originally, we were gonna do that end bit where he's like doing spoken words. It's just like all screaming. And we were like, oh, it's spoken word. That means you can just scream it, Ash. That's how that works. Yeah. But it was really hard. It turned out to be really difficult to just scream that whole bit. So we had to kind of sack that off and do it kind of differently. But yeah, I think it turned out all right. It was fun, at least.
Well,
it's essentially the same thing over and over again for 6 minutes, so it's pretty easy to...
yeah, I guess it is really, yeah. Yeah, it was great. In terms of getting back out, because you guys are going to be touring with Black Peaks as well, aren't you?
We were, yeah.
If that had happened. I mean, which is like a real bummer. Obviously, I don't need to say how much of a bummer it is, but any kind of idea or suggestion in your minds when you think you guys are going to be able to get back on stage again? I mean, how frustrating must that be when you've got this EP out that everyone's loving and
it's
play it live?
It is very annoying. Like, we were shitting ourselves about the Black Peaks tour, to be honest, because we've never played in front of crowds anything like that. It's like I think the most I've ever played in front of is probably Art Tangent. So it's it was insane. Like what was the cap of the London venue? It was like 1,500 or something like that, 1,200. Yeah, mental. So we were kind of shitting ourselves about it, and then gradually getting used to it happening, and then it didn't, which is it was pretty sad. I feel pretty sad for the Black Peaks guys, because they've had to cancel that tour like 3 times or something. It's mental. Rough.
We all hope that it gets back to normal. In the meantime, I mean, we've barely really talked about the song, but it's 13.5 minutes as a song. It goes to all manner of places. It's got all of the shit that I really, really loved about the EP kind of melded into one thing. It's unfathomably bleak. You all right? Like, you guys are as an aside.
I'm an angry cunt, I believe the technical term is. I'm fine.
I was being facetious, really, but that's fine. It's really good. Thanks so much for letting us premiere it. And,
that's all good. Thank you for showing an interest.
That's absolutely my pleasure. Dude, it's been lovely talking to you. Thanks for watching. If you're watching still, I assume you are, you wouldn't hear me saying that. And this is our exclusive here on Riot Act of the new single from Sugar Horse. It's called The Great Shame.
I believe this world has been here millions of years. The reason why it's been here millions of years, I think it was meant for mankind to come to this world and dinosaurs. But I think mankind has known very little about the world. Thank you very much, thank you. It's a nice pass you got there. Thank you. Hello, thank you.
Yes. You having a good day?
Oh, not too bad. Doomsday's not very far away, thank you.
Which day?
Doomsday, they tell me. They tell me Doomsday's, we're all going to die. Hello. Because of the exhaust from the motor cars are getting very serious. Come on, quick, quick. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Hate work.
Why?
The good Lord never put me on this earth to earn money for other bloody people. There must be something better in it than that.
Everybody, some people say it's round, some people say it's flat. What do you say? Round. You are confused. Thank you. What would you say the world was?
What do I think the world is?
Round, flat, or...
I'll go for round.
You go for round. No, what am I? I know. I disagree with you, mate. We'll be gone now. We'll be out of space if it was round, isn't it? That's right, isn't it, mate? Because what would happen? We're fold up. Let's see. It's right, isn't it? Everybody thinks this world's flat. You know that. What would you say it was? Flat or round? This world? I would say it's flat too. Why is that? We all think that way. I thought it was flat. I used to think it was round because I think people, and I worked it out myself. How can it be round? We've got the sea round, we've got the fresh air. Because if it's round, everything will just topple off the other side, wouldn't it? As the world spins around, doesn't it?
Jesus knows all our problems, and He set me free. Do you think you'll stick it?
Could you stick this? You can't stick this. It's horrible.
Nobody asked to be born. They're here from the pure selfishness of their parents. The mother or the father did not decide they want children. So you are propelled into this earth. You don't ask to be born, and once you've been born, you're just waiting to die, basically, aren't you? You're born, you live, you die. You're here, you're not, you are, you're not. That's the end of it. And I want to know why. Oh, there is. In fact, that's the only answer I could ever give my son when he said to me one day, why was I born, Dad? Why am I here? I said, well, if you hadn't been born, son, you wouldn't have known the pleasure of what it is to be alive. Well, I depressed the term. Realistic, I think, long term. But it's like people say, I would say to me, why aren't you ever miserable? I said, well, I think I've come to terms with, if you can come to terms with the sort of life you've got, like lack of education, lack of opportunity because of the war, things like that, and you can still fit into a niche and be prepared to accept that you're not going to go any further. I think that's the difference between being happy and miserable. Because I'm not going to achieve anything in life.